Today is Friday, September 9, 2016. We're pleased to bring you today's edition of the Government News Brief. In the news, complete professionalizing of the new Opportunity Corps is to ensure that young people entering the program are empowered for reintegration into society. Ministry of Education puts measures in place to engage private school operators, and a World Bank team is currently monitoring the East Demerara Water Conservancy Adaptation Project. Stay tuned as we bring you the details of these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I am Azim Khan. Here now are the details. Professionalizing the program at the new Opportunity Corps NOC is to ensure that young people leave the institution as better individuals. Minister within the Ministry of Education, Nicolette Henry, in an interview with Gina, says the intention is to ensure the NOC serves its mandate, that of being a corrective and rehabilitative institution.
That requires having the right staffing, not only in terms of numbers, but in terms of capacity. That speaks to the issue of HR, which is human resource. It might involve recruiting people, right-fitting people, and that type of normal procedure that goes with human resource development when you're professionalizing programs.
The minister explains that there will also be extensive collaboration with government agencies to ensure that the mandate of the institution is realized.
The police, the Ministry of Social Protection, public security, and even the legal area, because they all have a role to play in ensuring that the functions and operations of the new Opportunity Corps is in keeping with the objectives and mandates of that institution.
A significant amount of time will be spent in 2017 on professionalizing staff at the new Opportunity Corps. Additionally, Minister Henry says that the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, among other agencies, are assisting in developing a work plan geared towards professionalizing the NOC. The Central Housing and Planning Authority will wrap up an ongoing survey to determine the availability of lands for squatters. Details in this report.
Minister within the Ministry of Communities, Valerie Adams-Patterson, says the survey is to determine available lands to relocate squatters and should be completed by the end of next month.
We are looking in all the communities where there is no occupancy on some of these lands. Some of them we recognize they were not allocated, and some they were, but persons didn't pay.
Government's aim is to not only provide house lots to squatters, but find housing solutions such as apartment complexes. Minister Adams-Patterson explains that she is exploring partnering with Food for the Poor to provide housing for squatters.
Food for the Poor has just written to me requesting partnership with housing to do these two-bedroom wooden houses low cost.
These strategies are aimed at providing low-cost housing solution to squatters while effectively utilizing available land spaces, the minister notes. However, the minister is encouraging squatters to apply at the Central Housing and Planning Authority to ensure that they benefit from these strategies.
If they don't have an application system, we can provide you with a house lot. And we're not only looking at giving you a house lot, but providing housing, which is more, it's better for us and also the applicants.
The Ministry of Communities' 2017 work plan seeks to relocate about 400 squatters who have applied for reallocation. For the Government News Brief, I'm Tiffany Rogers.
The Education Ministry is moving to streamline the operations of private schools in Guyana with the appointment of a coordinator. Find out more in this next report.
Minister of Education Dr. Rupert Roopnarine has announced the appointment of a coordinator of private schools. The appointment is intended to regulate the involvement of these essential stakeholders. It also gives the private school operators an opportunity to make a structured contribution to the management and enhancement of the education system. Minister Roopnarine says,
More and more private schools are entering the education sector. Given the quintessential role that education plays in human and societal development, and given the government's mandate to regulate the affairs of the society, it is incumbent on the ministry to ensure that private schools are facilitated in the delivery of education and that they are regulated to assure the society of their relevance and the provision of quality service.
Former Deputy Chief Education Officer Development, Dudmati Singh, with responsibility for development, is the new coordinator of private schools. Singh, who has spent 34 years of her life as an educator, holds a bachelor's degree in education, teaching and administration, primary, and a Master of Arts degree in school management. But the private schools are not the only stakeholders that the ministry is seeking to get to embrace their role as the participants and benefactors of the education system. Minister Rupnarain says the ministry's other recent appointment of a coordinator of Parent-Teachers Association will get the parents, another crucial stakeholder, to engage their children and the education system.
Education cannot be delivered in a vacuum. The act of parenting is complementary to the system and can enhance what the system sets out to do. If only there is the required synergy between the efforts of the schools and those of the parents at home. The Parent-Teachers Associations should provide an opportunity for the enhancement of the skill of parenting, inasmuch as it provides an opportunity for the parents to be engaged in the governance of the schools while supplementing the delivery of the curriculum at home.
Hollingsworth has a Master's of Education in Educational Leadership and Administration General. For this Government News Brief, Shivani Rampersad reporting.
The remote Region 1 village of Kwabana to have internet access. Details from Delicia Haynes.
The Kwabana village in the Maruka sub-district is working towards setting up an internet hub so that the village can stay abreast with what's happening in the country and elsewhere. This development will be facilitated through the Jubilee Grant initiated by the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs as part of the 50th Independence Anniversary celebration. Tushao Paul Pierre says,
Yes, well, we do have the Jubilee Grant still out. We're hoping that we can extend our village guest house. And I was told recently that we can also maybe use some of the money to do to establish an internet system in the community.
The Tushao points out a number of other capital projects that have been completed for 2016.
And for the year so far, we have been able to complete 3 projects, which was funded by the government. A woodworking center, Stelling on the waterfront, and a Benab. So I think for the year, we're doing quite well so far. We still have another projects or 2 in the pipeline.
Overall, Kwabana has received interventions from the Ministries of Indigenous Peoples Affairs and Public Health in the form of outboard engines and assistance to facilitate the expansion of several facilities to better meet the needs of residents. The distribution of Jubilee grants took the place of the presidential grant for this year. By the end of 2016, more than 212 indigenous villages are to receive Jubilee grants for expansion of village farms, aquaculture, cattle and poultry rearing, eco-lodges, guest houses, village offices, shops and markets, landmark benabs, recreational parks, internet services, and purchasing transportation for agricultural and other purposes. For the Government News Brief, I am Delicia Haynes.
A 2-member World Bank team is in Guyana to monitor the progress of the East Demerara Water Conservancy Adaptation Project. Kedaki Amsterdam tells us more.
Team leader Armando Guzman and hydrology specialist Isabella Bovolo are here to identify how the bank can help Guyana to continue implementing the project, for which actual works are expected to be executed later this year. Team leader Guzman says the bank is satisfied that the main recommendations to fix the EDWC are being carried out.
The main recommendations are being carried out, so that's the rehabilitation of a certain section of the dam, which was deemed to be the most at risk of failure, and that's being rehabilitated, and also the pump stations, and alongside with that to increase the drainage from the East Coast drainage.
The EDWC adaptation project is funded by the International Development Association, IDA, of the World Bank, and is being implemented in 2 phases. Husman explains further.
For the EWC, we have a 12 million loan from the IDA envelope that we have for the country, and the Cunha Canal is 3.5 million, 3 million from the Guyana Red Investment Fund. We have carried out the studies and the engineering analysis required for this. So it's not only giving the money to implement the works, but also doing the analysis, where we invested a little more than 3 million to do all the baseline studies and the analysis required to propose the best and optimal solutions for the flood problems in the area.
Meanwhile, Bovolo, who participated in Phase 1 of the EDWC adaptation project, outlines previous works done and comments on progress made thus far on Phase 2.
These are the implementation phase of the studies. So looking at actually installing the infrastructure, whereas the previous Conservancy adaptation project did a lot of modelling, a lot of studies to understand how the Conservancy worked, and hydraulically looking at the safety of the dam, and also on the east coast, looking at the drainage systems there.
Kidaki Amsterdam for Government News Brief.
Over the weekend, the Muslim community will be celebrating Eid al-Adha. This activity, celebrated by Muslims in Guyana as well as Muslims around the world, is also a timely reminder that all of us should see the need for higher selfless service to our people as we go forward in peace, social justice, and better standard of life and harmonious relations in our society. The Government Information Agency, GINA, is pleased to wish our Muslim brothers and sisters best wishes for Eid al-Adha. We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website. GINA has an active Facebook page, and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be informed as the news unfolds. Remember to join us on Tuesday, September 13, 2016, as the Government Information Agency brings you another edition of the Government News Brief. Have a safe weekend, enjoy the holiday on Monday, and thank you for watching.